Willah J. Mudolo's story is grounded in vision and not vanity. Across sectors such as structured finance, real estate, energy, and trade logistics, he reflects the qualities of a man that is a responsible servant of others and results-oriented. As a business executive with over 15 years of progressive responsibility, his emphasis has always been on setting the foundation for Africa's long-term growth objectives, not chasing quick wins. Whether he is mobilizing capital through or facilitating development through, there is consistency in his intent with each endeavor, which is to support sustainable progress and opportunity to populations that need it the most. From humble beginnings to Fortune 500 boardrooms, Willah J. Mudolo is widely known for his pragmatic leadership and financial acumen. He has worked across multiple sectors. Specificity of sectorality does not disrupt his thinking or approach. His original thinking was set on the premise of not seeing scarcity in Africa. Africa has all the resource it needs to transform itself. It just needs better asset management and easier access to finance. To put it lightly, he believes Africa only needs better financial stewards. This conviction has allowed Mr. Mudolo to speak equally the language of business and public service. An African footprint, through finance as group president of ADF Holdings, Willah J. Mudolo has been involved in capital mobilization in the billions of dollars across the African market for infrastructure and trade. The firm focuses on providing strategic advisory services and investment frameworks that enable public-private partnership arrangement of complex national and multinational project outcomes as well as trade facilitation. Whether he is developing an overall strategic plan or providing equity relief for the organization or project sponsor or decision-maker, he relies on a high degree of thought and associated accountability. However, it's not just about the numbers for Mr. Mudolo. His education in finance provides a framework to challenge the systemic exclusion of local businesses in growing locally as part of national growth. Africa does not have a lack of resources, but rather a lack of leadership and financial stewardship, he told me during an interview. This reinforces Mudolo's work with institutions that have an agenda for access, fairness, and localized value. Energy, infrastructure, and national growth. Mudolo's work extends to his role as executive chairman of RP Energy Fund, focused on energy infrastructure and structured financing. The fund serves as a conduit into Africa's ongoing dilemma of the relationship between energy production and how the connection is made to communities and industries. The projects funded by RP Energy Fund include building pipelines, storage terminals, and arrangements for cross-border trade, to allow nations in Africa to assume a broader role in their energy planning. With co-investors and development banks, RP Energy Fund also fills the gap in investment and creates a contribution to the industrialization agenda under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, to create smoother and reliable intra-African trade. Real estate for a purpose. One of Mudolo's signature projects is Grand City Development, a new land development project for large-scale development of 14,600 hectares near the Lower Zambezi in Zambia. This new city is to include a smart city, tourism districts, renewable parks, and industry zones, with a view on long-term socio-economic impact. The estimated value of the project is over $60 billion, and it is not the price tag that defines the project. For Mudolo, success is defined in terms of how many jobs it creates, how many families it houses, and whether it changes the narrative on what African-led development can look like. He also leads the Top Property Group, which is focused on real estate projects across the spectrum of affordable to very high-end. Mudolo leverages both of these vehicles to enable it to deliver equitable urban development with possibility and accessibility. His real estate work is not just land, it is about providing communities spaces to grow, live, and engage in an economy created for them. A commitment to people, not just profit. Willah J. Mudolo sees the financial sector as only one tool for achieving transformation. He dedicates a large amount of his time and resources to the W. J. Mudolo Foundation, a funding vehicle to support healthcare, education, youth empowerment, and environmental regeneration. He has funded solar-powered class hospitals, youth vocational training, water sanitation projects, and a campaign to plant 2 billion trees by 2030, amongst other initiatives. Through each of these undertakings, he demonstrates a commitment to sustainable change. His foundation's work complements his belief that in sustainable development through private success you should create public value, especially in areas where public services are still out of basic reach of many people. Financial discipline timed with leadership. Along with his corporate work, Willah J. Mudolo has also entered the political space driven by the same approach which shaped his business career, i.e., disciplined planning, clear strategy, and putting people first. His upcoming platform focuses on job creation, financial accountability, and public service reform. Unlike most, who perceive a political position as one of privilege, Mudolo perceives taking on the political role as merely an extension of his responsibility to serve. His goal is less about becoming a career politician and more about changing the structure of government. He wants to build systems that are transparent, effective, and service-focused instead of power-focused. His plans include resilience in the economy, decentralization, and community engagement, all based on principles he has already executed in business. A voice for financial sovereignty. One of Mudolo's biggest concerns is that Africa is still reliant upon foreign aid and high-interest loans to fund development. He insists Africa has to learn to fund its own development and rely primarily on its own leadership, domestic resource mobilization, and better access to capital for local businesses. He believes there must be an increase in financial literacy amongst leadership so that national wealth can be distributed equitably amongst all citizens. This attitude towards financial sovereignty is why he is currently engaged in policy conversations through programs such as the Afro Champions Initiative, where he is a member of the Circle of Advisors and Patrons, and is able to influence policy direction to accelerate economic integration through the AFCFTA, especially with regard to infrastructure, investment instruments, regional trade systems, and long-term solutions for Africa to deliver on its self-sustainability agenda. Investing in future generations. To Willah J. Mudolo, investing in future generations is more than just investing in today's problems, it is about investing in young leaders for future opportunities. Through mentorship programs, training centers for emerging professionals, educational scholarships, and many excellent initiatives, he is growing a new crop of African professionals that understand how important politics, ethics, and economics are to their future. Willah J. Mudolo sees education and youth empowerment not as an act of charity, but as an investment. As Africa's demographic is skewing younger and younger, he believes that Africa's ability to prepare its youth for leadership and entrepreneurship and public service will ultimately determine Africa's future success. This work is clearly already taking place throughout the countries of Southern Africa and Eastern Africa, laying the foundation for generational impact. Measured by outcomes, not noise. The business and finance sectors are often characterized by noise over substance. Willah J. Mudolo goes against that paradigm, ensuring he is consistently focused, calm, and collected. He has numerous companies in different sectors making significant investments as his leadership is multifaceted and broad, and he has a clear mission, but what is consistent is the authenticity of his work. He is not looking for a pedestal. In fact, he prefers to be examined by the systems he establishes, the communities he is investing in, and the capital he is mobilizing. He said it best, "My past is not a scandal, it is a school of wisdom." Grounded in experience and knowledge, the work of Willah J. Mudolo is supported by his extensive education. He earned an MSc in Finance and Accounting from the University of Salford, as well as MBAs in Strategic Planning and Finance and Sustainability from Heriot-Watt University and the University of Cumbria. Willah also fulfilled an executive master class in private equity at London Business School. His education demonstrates not just a clear understanding of all elements of finance, but the theory and practice of finance is brought to all his leadership and to all the firms he leads. Building a legacy with timeliness and precision. Willah J. Mudolo is not building a business. He is building systems, financial, educational, and environmental sustainable systems that are designed to outlive him. His story is one of informed decisions, intentional development, with safety for human beings being a priority over profit. Across boardrooms, rural medical clinics, construction building sites, mentorship programs, and so on, you can see his impact is wide, and because of its breadth it's simultaneously peripheral and meaningful. The future that his journey creates reminds all of us that being a leader through a lens of financial clarity and social accountability is possible.